Hi class, I want to take a couple of minutes today to talk to you about advertising, public relations, and sales promotion. And so we're going to talk about the major types of advertising. And so there's two major types of advertising. One is institutional advertising and the other is product advertising. When we're discussing institutional advertising, what we're doing there is we're not promoting a particular product. We're not saying, hi, I'm Toyota. This is the Toyota Corolla. Buy this Toyota Corolla. Instead, what we're doing is we're talking about ourselves as a company. So we're promoting the entire company itself. So we may say something like, hi, we're Chipotle, and we only serve responsibly raised beef. We only serve vegetables that have been grown within a 50-mile radius. So we're not telling you to come buy one of our burritos. Instead, we're telling you about who we are as an organization and what we stand for as an organization. And so with institutional advertising, we can even go a step further and go into advocacy advertising. And that is where an organization will, advertise as a call to action, but not a call to action necessarily to get you to buy something, but maybe to get you to do something. So this may be Coca-Cola creating an advertisement that is something along the lines of recycling. Enjoy a can of Coke and then go recycle the can of Coke, because ultimately that's going to make the environment better. And so that's kind of what we see with advocacy advertising. So again, institutional advertising is focusing on the company as a whole. Advocacy advertising is when that particular company is promoting a cause, whether it's, a social cause, or if it's for sustainability, recycling, anything like that. And then we move into our product advertising. So of course, product advertising is going to be when we're promoting a particular product or service. Buy these Nike shoes, come visit Disneyland. And so they're more of a call to action. And so within our product advertising, what we see is pioneer advertising. That's typically the way we would advertise a new product, a product that we want to, get your attention. We want you to become aware of this. We want you to say, I've never heard of that before, but I'd love to try it out. Then once we've kind of established that particular product, we move in maybe to competitive advertising. So we may start focusing on features that are better than what the competition is, being able to offer. So we see this a lot in maybe, like phone advertising. Get the new Samsung because it's got the best screen size. It has the best camera, the best features, and it can do all these other things. So we're starting to pinpoint things about this particular product that are better than what the competition is offering. Then taking that one step further, we may even go into comparative advertising. So with comparative advertising, that's when we're actually calling out a specific competitor and saying, hey, we do this better than you. So maybe we're Burger King and we come out with an advertisement that says, come to Burger King to get 10 chicken nuggets for $1. McDonald's sells 10 chicken nuggets for $5. So come here and save all this money. So with comparative, we're actually calling out a competitor. We may see an advertisement with, a can of Pepsi and a can of Coke, and maybe the ad says 4 out of 5 people prefer the taste of Coke over Pepsi. So we're calling out our competition when we're directly comparing them. When we create an advertisement, there's many appeals that we can use in that particular advertisement. So when we're trying to determine the appropriate appeal, one of the things that we're going to look at is, of course, our target market, our target audience. What is going to appeal to them? What is going to capture their attention? And then, of course, we're also going to be looking at the actual product that we're offering as well. So the product we're offering coupled with who we want to buy that particular product is going to help us determine what kind of appeal we're going to use. And so an example of that may be like a Snickers bar. I have a Snickers bar. I want to sell that Snickers bar. How do I do that? I ask myself, well, who am I selling this Snickers bar to? For the most part, it may be like, little kids, it may be teenagers, it may be somebody busy, and it's a snack. There's lots of substitutes for this particular product. It's relatively cheap. So how am I going to appeal to customers? And so what we're seeing here a lot lately with Snickers is that they're using a lot of humor. So we can kind of use this fun and pleasure. So you'll see a commercial and someone's all grouchy or they're not playing, a football game the way they're supposed to. They eat a Snickers and then all is well. And there's kind of that tagline of, you're not you when you're hungry, eat a Snickers. And so it's kind of fun. There's some humor involved in it as well. Again, other appeals that we can use is profit. And so in that sense, what we're doing is we are appealing to a customer's need and desire to save money. And so even if it's an expensive purchase, like let's say a electric vehicle, that's a very expensive upfront cost. But over the long run, when you're not paying for gas and you're not paying for oil changes, that will eventually save you some money. So we can use this profit when we're talking about, maybe high-end products that you might not have to purchase often. We might see it in something like a Dyson vacuum cleaner, which is incredibly expensive. But in the long run, if you only have to buy that vacuum cleaner once every 15 years versus buying a new vacuum cleaner every year, then you're going to save some money in the long run. Or we may just appeal using profit by simply advertising that we have a sale. Buy one, get one 50% off. Buy two, get one free. That's appealing to customers because we're always looking for that good deal. We're always looking to want to save some money. Other advertising appeals that we see all the time are, health. When I'm watching TV at night, I see that there are more commercials for prescription medicine than just about anything else. And so, health is incredibly important to all individuals. We want to be healthy. We want to feel good. We want to look good. We want to, lose weight. We want to be younger. We want to be more active. We want to be more attractive. And so we're going to see all of these commercials that say, take this pill for your arthritis, take this pill to lower your blood pressure, take this pill to, combat depression, take this pill to help you quit smoking. And so we appeal to people's health because it is such an important issue. We're going to see things like Gatorade so that you can replenish yourself after you've had a long workout. So definitely there's some appeals there for health. I feel like especially in the pharmaceutical industry, we can even play off people's fears. We start seeing advertisements for medicines that cure ailments that we didn't even know exist. And they start saying, do you suffer from this, and this? And all of a sudden you feel like maybe you need to go to the doctor to get some medicine. And so we start to worry, maybe I need this, maybe I need to be doing something else. Fear, sometimes we see that with insurance companies. If you're in a wreck, what's going to happen? Who's going to take care of your loved ones? How are you going to get your car back? If your house is on fire, how are you going to get that paid for? And so we kind of, will play on people's fears and vulnerabilities when we're trying to sell these specific products, maybe like something like a health insurance. And then admiration, we sometimes see this maybe with celebrity endorsements, like I admire LeBron James. I think he's the best basketball player in the world. He's wearing Beats. Maybe I should go get some Beats because I admire him and I want to be cool like him, or I want to buy his shoes, or I want to buy Michael Jordan shoes. And so we sometimes see this as well. Other things that may appeal to us is convenience. And so I think Swiffer sweepers have done a fantastic job appealing to the convenience of it, because the truth is nobody wants to clean, nobody wants to sweep and mop and dust and all that other stuff. But those are necessary things that need to be done within our daily lives. And so, a company like Swiffer and the products they offer, they're appealing to the convenience of it. Do this, it's quick, it's fast, and it still gets the job done. We may see this with some of our, appliances. I saw a commercial recently for a washing machine where you just dump the whole thing of laundry detergent in there, and then it just kind of dispenses as much as it needs per load. And so that's convenient. It's going to maybe save me time in the long run rather than having to measure it out each time. So, there's appeals that we can use. Vanity and egotism, we're always going to appeal to that. That's when we're going to see like our diet pills. We're going to see things for working out. We're going to see things for, cosmetic procedures. We're going to see this with, brands of clothing. Wear this, it's going to make you feel good, it's going to make you feel cool. And then, of course, something else we may see is environmental consciousness. It may appeal to the fact that we're buying a particular product because it's recycled, because it's sustainable, because it's organic, because it's non-GMO. And we have all these little like taglines and things like that: gluten-free, organic, cruelty-free products. And so that's appealing to us. So to me, again, the things we need to keep in mind is what's the product we're offering, who are we offering it to, and which way can we appeal to those particular customers to get their attention and to get them to want to get these particular products. And again, there's going to be executional styles as well, which is the way in which the ad is created, the feel of the ad, the look of the ad, who's in the ad. And so it might be something like, a slice of life style where we're seeing just, an ordinary family in the morning having breakfast, enjoying, toaster strudels. And you think, I have a normal family, and maybe for breakfast we want some toaster strudels too. Or we may try to appeal to certain types of lifestyles that are going to get us to want to purchase particular products. Another thing that we sometimes do is we look to a spokesperson or we look to a testimonial. So we see this a lot in our weight loss products. And so it might be Slim Fast or Weight Watchers or Jenny Craig, where someone's like, I've been on Weight Watchers for a year and I've lost 60 pounds. And you think, oh, if they can do it, then I can do it too. Or we may see someone trying out a new Oil of Olay product. Oh, I've been using this night cream for 6 weeks and now all my wrinkles are gone, and it's Eva Longoria. And you're like, yes, of course, I want to try that particular product. Or it can just be something, of a fantasy. So I kind of think of maybe like a Victoria's Secret type thing, or even like a vacation where it's like, man, I would love to have that. I would love to be able to, go to places like that, drive a car like that. And then, of course, we're going to use humor because it kind of like sticks with us when we laugh. I think of maybe Peyton Manning in the Nationwide insurance commercials. Insurance can be rather bland, kind of boring, but you have someone like Peyton Manning and he's singing songs and making up jingles, and we kind of remember that, and it sticks with us, and it makes a product like insurance maybe a little less boring. Then we can even see like animated, we can use cartoons. So there's like, Tony the Tiger and the Lucky Charms guy, and we see things like that. So maybe in some of our kid products. And so we may even be trying to establish a certain mood or image within some of these particular commercials. We may even demonstrate it. So we might say, this is how you use this particular product. We might see this a lot in like an infomercial type style where it's like, this pan, nothing will stick to this pan. And we put honey and, Jolly Ranchers, and we melt them and they just kind of slide right out. And so that's kind of what we see with their demonstration. Of course, music is always going to be something that, helps us to remember a particular advertisement or remember a particular product. And then, of course, we may even bring in facts. We may, have some logic tied in there. We might say, this Subaru vehicle is the safest vehicle on the road, and the National Highway Transportation Association said so. So there's some science behind there, there's some logic behind there, and it's kind of like, well, I want my family to be safe. And so one thing to keep in mind with these appeals and with these different executional styles is we can use many of them. So one ad can have several appeals, and it can be executed in a variety of different styles. So it's not like we just pick one and go with it. We definitely can use many. And so when we're doing all of this advertising, we can advertise using a variety of different mediums. And so one way that we can advertise is we can advertise through the newspaper. This is something that seems to be going away very, very quickly, as people are not reading newspapers as much as they used to. People are consuming news more than they ever have before, but it's not in a newspaper. Instead of picking up the Wall Street Journal, we go online and read the Wall Street Journal. We'll go to CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, but however, most of us get a majority of our news from social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and things like that. So we're not seeing advertisement in the newspapers as much as we used to. The same thing kind of follows suit for magazines. We don't really subscribe to magazines the way we once did. It's interesting because the magazine Entertainment Weekly is now turning into Entertainment Monthly. So it's no longer going to be a weekly magazine. It's going to a monthly subscription. And so that's a real sign of the way times are changing. We had a magazine who, within its very name, said it was going to be distributed weekly, and now it's turning into a monthly publication. I still feel like radio is an effective means of advertising because I feel like people listen to the radio still all the time. However, I feel like they're consuming music in a variety of different ways. So it's not enough to just advertise on a local radio station. You may want to engage in sponsored stories on Spotify and YouTube Music and Pandora. And then, of course, we see advertising on television, which again, it's kind of ebbing and flowing. Now that we have DVRs, we fast forward through everything, or some of us aren't really even watching television the way we once were. We're watching Netflix and Hulu and HBO Go and, YouTube Red, and that kind of changes the way that we advertise on television. What we're seeing the big push towards is advertising over the internet, whether that's sponsored stories on social media platforms, sponsored stories embedded within YouTube videos, search engine, direct marketing, things like that. We're seeing that a lot more. We're even getting kind of like direct stuff sent to our phone via text messaging. And so we're seeing a lot of different changes because of technology. And of course, we still have our outdoor media. Companies are not spending as much money on billboards as they once were, but I still feel like they can be an effective means of advertising. Now, moving from advertising, which is paid. So advertising is paid for by the company. So if I'm Apple and I want to make a commercial and I want to put it on TV, I'm going to pay for that commercial. I'm going to own the content of that commercial. I'm going to create the content. It's going to be looked over, analyzed, and scrutinized by a bunch of people. Then it's going to be given a thumbs up, and then it's going to air. One thing that we need to keep in mind with advertising is, depending on the particular advertisement, it can last a really, really long time. One example that I like to use is the M&M's commercial that we see around Christmas time. It's Santa putting presents under the tree, and then the two M&M's walk in on him. Everybody gets startled. They look at each other. Santa says, they really do exist. The M&Ms say, he really does exist. And then everyone faints. I think that commercial has been airing around Christmas time for at least 2 decades. So that's something that's kind of nice about creating an advertisement is depending on what you create, you can air it over and over and over and over again. So again, advertisement, we're paying for it. The company's creating it, the company's controlling it, and depending on the type of advertisement we create, it can run for a very long time. Public relations, on the other hand, relies on news outlets and individuals to carry information out. And so public relations is not bought by the company. Instead, what the company may do is say, we're releasing a new product. We're going to have a press conference on the new product. All the news stations are invited, show up, and then go to, the local news at 6 o'clock and report on this particular new product. So with public relations, there's not a real call to action. With most advertisements, they're going to want you to do something. Go buy M&Ms, go subscribe to Hulu, go buy a Toyota. With public relations, it might just be the announcement. We're going to announce the new iPhone and all the features it offers and when it's going to be available. The other thing with public relations is that these news stories typically only last a news cycle, and they're generated because there's a belief that the public has an interest in these particular stories. The other thing that we may do is, again, talk about a new product we're offering. Another way we can engage in public relations is like product placement. And so if, it's the television show Stranger Things, and I'm Coke, and I want people to drink a Coke, and I know that people watch Stranger Things, I'm going to pay to have a can of Coke inside, one of the bedrooms of the kids on Stranger Things. And, that's not a commercial, it's not a billboard, it's not a magazine, but that can of Coke is sitting there. And as we watch Stranger Things, we might be like, Coke sounds good, whether or not we're even thinking about it. We may engage in educating consumers about new products that we have, the way our products work. The other thing that we sometimes will do is we might sponsor an event. So Pepsi sponsors the Super Bowl halftime show. And so this is a, television event that's watched by, over 100 million people just in the United States alone. If the name Pepsi keeps showing up again and again and again, then at some point people are going to start thinking about Pepsi. They're maybe going to want a Pepsi. We can do experimental marketing, and we can even, of course, have a company website where people can go and find more about our products and the company itself. The other thing that we see with public relations is that we sometimes have to mitigate bad publicity. And so when our company is in the news for something that isn't good, we have to manage that somehow. And of course, we refer to that as crisis management. So what happens if we have a product recall? How do we handle that? What happens if our CEO gets arrested for drunk driving? What happens if we have a celebrity endorsement with, Joe Blockbuster and he gets in trouble for drugs? Who knows? We need to manage that somehow because, with the news, they can kind of take stories and run with them. Videos can go viral very, very quickly. And so if there's like an instance where you have a customer being treated really badly by one of your employees and someone's filming it and they post that on YouTube, we have to think of ways to do that. And so with this, companies constantly have to be on their toes. They constantly have to be monitoring what is being said about them, and they need to act very quickly. And so again, what we need to keep in mind when we're talking about public relations is that as a company, we don't pay for this. We don't own the content. It So that means we can't control it as well either. And so we rely on others to carry the message for us. Sometimes it can be really good, sometimes it can be bad, but we always need to manage it no matter what. And so that's kind of what we're looking at and what we're talking about when we're talking about public relations. And so if you have any questions or any thoughts on either of this, definitely let me know. And if not, then I will see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.